Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our inaugural Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So before we get started with the off-season, I want to let you guys know that the next 5 episodes are going to be pre-recorded episodes. The reason being is with the coronavirus going around, my dad is off for like the next 3 weeks. So I don't have time to record during those 3 weeks because normally I don't record when he's around. So those 3 weeks I'm going to have videos pre-recorded. I actually do already have some pre-recorded for during that span because these playoff episodes that you guys saw recently were all pre-recorded episodes, so they're still technically at this point in time when I'm recording this. There's an episode going up today, and then there's one going up on Monday. But then this one would be on the Fridays, so probably there's going to be around 3 or 4 episodes that are pre-recorded all the way up until April the 6th, I think, and then we'll get back to regular scheduling. So I apologize for the inconvenience, but anyways, let's get into the off season. Hope you guys are doing all right, and hopefully nobody that you know has the coronavirus because it sounds really annoying, and yeah. A lot of stuff going on with that, but I don't want to get into anything with how the world's doing. So let's get into this off season. So we're up at the draft. We had just won our first Stanley Cup in last episode. It was a good performance from pretty much everybody on this team. I'll go through the player stats again just in case you didn't catch that Stanley Cup Finals episode against the New York Rangers. So as you can see, pretty much everybody on this team put up some good numbers. Everybody was like plus and whatnot. And then also our goaltending situation was actually way better than we expected because we had some injury problems throughout the season with our goaltending. And then also in the playoffs, Wakaluk missed a couple games, but he was really, really good. And Andy Moog was solid enough as a backup. But the thing is with Andy Moog is he is way older and he is probably on the drop-off. So I think we might try and trade him here in the at the draft. And then that way we could get maybe another pick or a prospect into the system. And then Darcy Wakaluk would be like still the starter or a backup next year. And then Nabokov will be the other goalie because Nabokov should be ready for the NHL. And then that gives Thomas Vokoun the starting time in the minors. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do because Andy Moog is very old, 37 years old. He's probably going to retire after another season or so, so might as well let him go. So let's get into this draft first and see what we could do here. So let's see if we can make a trade first with Andy Moog, though. So let's find a trade, see if anybody is interested in Andy Moog. Because, I mean, he's going to have 1 year left after this year, and he's a good enough starting goaltender for a team that doesn't have any good goalies. Because, as you can see, Nabokov's already an 80, so he's our backup next year for sure. Unless he grows even more, he might be the starter. So, let's see if we can find a trade for Andy Moog. And we do find some trades. Okay, that's good. 2 trade offers, both from the St. Louis Blues. So, the first one is a third from the Winnipeg Jets, Grant Jennings, and a 6th. So, that's another defenseman in. It's not that bad. Another one is Rudy Poshek, who's got 2 years left at 1.4, which I don't really like in a 2/5. So I think I'll do this first deal, and then Grant Jennings. I don't know if his contract's actually up for renewal or not. He might be one of those guys we just let go of in free agency right away, or we might use him as a depth guy instead of somebody like Craig Ludwig. So yeah, I'm gonna accept this first deal and get rid of Andy Moog. So good luck in St. Louis, Andy. And thank you for your contribution on this cup-winning team. Okay, so now we're down to our goaltending combinations. So as you can see, Wakaluk and Nabokov, Vokoun will be the starter in the AHL. And then, yeah, the rest of the stuff is up to free agency and re-sign stage stuff. So let's get into this draft. So Hartford's got first overall, followed by, Czech Republic, Sweden, Anaheim, and Ottawa. Okay, let's see who goes first overall. It's going to be that franchise guy, was it Ryland Foot? Raphael Foot. So he goes to Hartford, so a good pickup for the Hartford Whalers. Czech Republic is going to take Kapaduka, a defensive defenseman. Sweden's going to take Rawlings. Anaheim is going to take Osgood. And then the Sens are going to take Jelena. Okay. So let's sim to our pick and see what we could get at number 31. I think there was some good players available still, and damn it, that's one of the guys I wanted to get was a low elite guy, Mr. Daniel Madsen, he looks pretty good. Low elite, 64 overall, sniper. That would have been a really good pickup for us, but unfortunately he just goes to the Rangers. But whatever. See if we could still find something really good here at this spot. So we could get a top 6 forward, power forward, but we don't really need much more centers because we do have Wong, who's going to be jumping into the NHL next season. We also have Lundell, who's going to be growing, Medano. So I don't think we really need a center, to be honest. If I'm going to be... Like, this guy could be elite, but we don't really need any elite centers as well. What do I want to go after? I might go for a winger top 6 instead. Or do I want to go for a defenseman? This guy, I can't even tell if he's a defensive defenseman or not, but he looks pretty good, and he could have 1 year ETA. Yeah, you know what? We're going to take Braden Taves, because we do need some defensive prospects, because our defensive core is a bit older, with guys like Cavallini in their 30s. So let's take this Taves guy and see how good he is. He's probably a top 4, I would assume, at least. If he's a top 6, that would suck. And he is a top 4 and 71 overall. It's pretty good. And where did he play last year? Spokane? Yeah, Spokane. So he's going to go back to the WHL for another year, but that's a pretty good defenseman. And he's also a right-handed shot. So I think that was a pretty good pickup. There's his overall stats. And he's actually got a pretty good defensive awareness already. That's nice. Yeah, I think that was a pretty good pick for number 31. We don't have a whole lot of picks in this draft yet because we made some big deals to try and help us out in the playoffs. So we have our 5th round pick now after that first round. Let's see if we could steal anything here. Lorenzo Cato could be elite, but is he even close to it? I don't think so. Let's go by potential. I don't really care if they're not in their spots because we don't have a lot of picks. Doesn't look like there's any elite guys potentially. There's a low top 6. I mean, that's probably the best option there. It's another center, but he might end up being like a bottom 6 forward for us. And he is supposed to go way later in the draft, but I'm just going to take him anyways. So Chase Flynn. Yeah, he's 5 years away. He's going to take quite a while to develop, but whatever. Welcome aboard. Let's just take a look at how good he was. And he's a low top 6, 49 overall. So the overall is not that good. It's going to take definitely him a while to develop, but whatever. Our next pick, do we want to go with the goalie? No, probably not. We're probably in a stage where everything else in this draft is really bad. Yeah, I don't even know who to take. Let's just take a random shot in the dark with one of these unknowns. So, we do need wingers, so let's take this Gage DeBoer guy. We don't know anything about him whatsoever. Hopefully he's pretty good. And let's check. And he is a bottom 6 forward, so I don't think he'll make it, but some of the bottom 6 forwards in this do actually make it with these roster builds because the lowest overall I've seen on like a 4th line is like a 75 or so. So you never know, this guy could end up making it. And our final pick of the draft. There's another goaltender available, but I don't think we need more goalie prospects. Because like Vokunin and like Nabokov are going to be really good already. Frederick Backstrom is one of the things that the scout recommends us, or JC Sidu. Let's take JC Sidu, even though he's a defenseman. Again, he's another right-handed one. Probably a 7th D. Yeah, it was a 7th D. So not a really eventful draft, but I think Taze is a pretty good pickup for our defensive core for the future, and then Flynn could end up being something maybe for the bottom 6, but not a bad draft. Not the greatest either, though. Okay, so let's into the re-sign phase. We'll actually take a look and see if there's any trades at that draft or not, other than ours. Let's get our AHL coaches back quickly. So Saul Watkins, that's a kind of a cool name, Saul. This reminds me of that TV show Better Call Saul, even though I've never watched it before. Get all these guys back. Hopefully they all want to sign with us. There you go. And we got also our scouts to work with. I kind of hate how you have to re-sign all these scouts like right before the normal re-sign phase, because then when you're going through all the re-signing for players, it pops up with all the scouts as well. So we want all of our amateur scouts back, and any AHL or NHL ones we could let go of because we don't need those. There you go. Kopitz, Terry is good. Kobasu. Aho is good. Bowman. hopefully they could find some good prospects in the next few years as well, because our team is a bit older and we definitely need some replacements, because like I don't know how we're going to work with free agency right after this with like Broughton and whatnot. Okay, so all those scouts are renewed, hopefully. There we go, and we got to get to the re-sign phase. So let's take a look and see if there's any trades quickly at the draft other than our own trade that we made, sending Moog to St. Louis. So there was just a couple picks that were traded, but nothing really. Okay. So I think our trade was pretty good, though, getting some picks and a defenseman that could potentially be re-signed. I don't know how old Grant Jennings is now. I think he's probably in his later 30s, so he might not get re-signed. So let's take a look at what we have to re-sign this year. So UFA-wise, we got Neil Broughton. I don't know if Neil Broughton is going to come back. If he does, maybe I play him as a winger, because Lundell could be jumping up to the second line, and Wong is going to be jumping into the NHL as well. So that's going to be a tough decision. Dave Gagne as well is a bit of one that's up in the air. He might come back. I think I'm going to get mostly all the defensemen back. But forward-wise, we're going to definitely have to let go of some people. How about goalies? Do we have any goalies that are up for contract renewal? I think Wakaluk, right? Yeah, Darcy Wakaluk needs a contract renewal. We're going to sign him probably for like maybe 1 year only, just so that way Nabokov could get ready to be a better starter by then. And then RFA-wise, we got a couple guys, but they're just AHLers probably for the rest of their careers. Unsigned-wise, we will give Taze a contract, but he won't get to play in the NHL yet, which really sucks. But other than that, we are getting some growth from our prospects like Martinson. So I'm going to re-sign everybody that I can, and I will get back to you guys in a second. Okay, guys, so we got pretty much everybody back. I am debating letting go of Dean Evason, though, because he was a third-line center, and then with like Wong coming in, he would be like more of a fourth-liner. So yeah, we're going to let go of Dean Evason for now. And then also defensively, we're going to let go of Craig Ludwig, because currently Grant Jennings is better than him and he is younger. So we will use Grant Jennings as our depth guy this year. And then we will let go of Ludwig if possible. There you go. So that should be it, I think. I'll just make sure. Yeah, we got everybody else back. So here is what we have going into free agency first. So let's go actually by position. So center-wise, let's see what we got here. We got 5 centers that all could play in the NHL. 6, actually. So 6, and then wingers, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So at the moment, who is the worst overall? Scott Pearson. So Pearson might end up being a depth guy for us, but our forward core is pretty much set in stone, I think. And then defensively, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our 7th. So we are actually looking pretty good. We might not need to make much signings. Maybe one more depth forward, just because we only have 1 at the moment. So yeah, let's sim to free agency. We're also going to take a look at all the signings that happen in free agency this offseason. But I think I might start free agency in next episode, because we are already at around 18 minutes. And I don't really want this like episode to be too long. But I could actually sim up to the start of the next season. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that and show you guys the free agent signings in this episode, just to kind of give you guys a bit more content so you have something to do while there's no hockey on and whatnot. Okay, so we are still listed as a contender. That is good. Let's take a look at what's available in free agency. We're only going to sign a depth guy. So there is some big names out there like Brindamore, Nolan, Peter Forsberg's an RFA. I wonder if Quebec will offer him a contract. Okay, so we need 1 depth guy. Let's start by role, and we need 1 depth forward only. Just like one that's probably around like 79, 80 overall. Somebody like Mike Stapleton, probably a winger though, since Stapleton's a centerman. There we go. On to those depth forwards. Luciano Borsato. That might not be that bad, because a lot of the other depth guys are 73 or 74. So yeah, we'll bring in Luciano Borsato for 1 year as a depth guy. And I think that's good. How about goalies? What's available there? Salo. Okay, yeah, there's some good names out there. Okay, so let's advance a few days, see if we get Luciano Borsato into the lineup, and then we will take a look at free agent signings every single month just to see if there's been anything happening in this offseason as well for trades. No thank you, I don't want to make any trades with you, Detroit. So we should get Borsato. Yep, we do. Okay, good. So we have two depth centers pretty much at the moment, but one of them will play wing, I guess, if they go into the lineup. Okay, so let's go all the way to August the 1st, and then we'll take a look at any transactions that have happened in this offseason so far. It'd be interesting to see any big signings, and we actually have a trade alert. So Mark Lamb in a second head to New York. I don't know which New York team that is. Probably the Islanders, actually. Yeah, because Malikov. And Malikov in a third head to Philadelphia. So an interesting trade there. I wonder if we're going to get any other trade pop-ups like that one. I always find the offseason the most interesting part about these roster builds because it's kind of cool to see where people sign. And there's another trade. So Toronto has acquired 2 first-round picks for John Cullen and Jamie McCowan, who both head to Philadelphia. So Philadelphia is loading up on players. So they might be a really good team this upcoming season. Here's another trade, a first, a second, and a goalie prospect, Berube. Head to New York for Scott. That's Steve Thomas. Yeah, it's Steve Thomas. And a 7th. So the Islanders are making some moves as well. Looks like they're maybe headed back towards a rebuild. And there's another trade which is kind of interesting, a prospect for Rob Goudreau. And it's Philadelphia again once making those trades. Finland's acquired 2 second-round picks for Sean Van Allen and a third who head to Sweden. Okay. A lot of interesting deals happening. And there's another one. Damn, these off seasons are actually pretty busy. Robert Svela and Igor Larionov head to New York for a first and a second. Okay, I think that's the Rangers acquiring those ones, though, because the Rangers are a better team than the Islanders at this stage. And there we go. We're at August the 1st, so a lot of trades happened, and I wonder how much good signings happened as well. Like any big acquisitions for teams or not. So let's go to the player pick and trading first. So I'm just going to scroll through this. I'm not going to read it all out, but if you guys want to pause the video at any time, you can. Yeah, there was just the trades I mentioned, I think, only. And then signing-wise, here is some of the signings. So any big-name signings. I probably won't read them all out again just because I don't want to talk too much. Like, my voice is kind of sore from talking already a lot. So Craig Ludwig, our former player, signed in Pittsburgh. Any other interesting ones? Paul Broughton, another former player of ours, signed in St. Louis. But we didn't have him like a year ago. We let him go. Kelly Rudy signs in Montreal, even though he's dropping off a lot. Any interesting signings? Jeff Odgers. Marty McSorley signs in San Jose. Didn't he actually play in San Jose at one point? I'm pretty sure he did, so that's kind of cool. And I think it was probably around this point in time. Any other deals? Randy McKay and Rangers. Brian Trottier signing in Chicago again. Dino Ciccarelli signs in New York. Ken Reggett signs in Florida. Pupa signs back in Tampa Bay. I'm pretty sure he was on a different team before. Any other interesting signings? Michel Goulet signing in Detroit. Magnus Arvidsson signing in Germany. Doesn't look like any huge signings, but a lot of these players are switching teams. Alex Daggery signed in Ottawa for a 5-year deal. Good for him, even though he's a bust, or was a bust. Peter Stastny signs in New Jersey. I think he actually played for New Jersey at one point in time, but that was before his Quebec days and St. Louis days. So that's kind of interesting. Anybody else? Tommy Salo signs in Pittsburgh. Joe Murphy signs in Boston. Chris Draper signs with the Leafs. Ew, I don't like that. Olaf Kolzig signs in Russia. Yeah, a lot of random signings. Roman Turek signs in Philadelphia on a 5-year deal. So I guess he was an RFA and Philadelphia signed him. Or no, maybe he was a UFA. Yeah, he probably would have been a UFA. Never mind. Any other things? Owen Nolan resigns in Quebec for 7 years. Peter Forsberg resigns in Sweden for 7 years. Rod Brindamore signs in Florida for 7 years. Wow. Anything else? Joseph Stumple resigns in Boston, and some Oleg Habibulin guy signs in Finland. Okay, so that is the first month of free agency. We'll do another month. I don't know if I'll actually show you guys the lineups for next season already in this episode because we are close to 25 minutes already. So we will just do the one more month of looking at free agent signings, and then that'll be it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll start up the next season, the 4th season of this year, of this franchise mode. Hopefully we could have another good year and go for another Stanley Cup. That'd be nice. There's probably not going to be as much signings this month, like as big of signings as there was last month, or as big of trades. We're getting trade offers, but I'm not going to accept any at the moment, just because I don't really trade in the off season. So Alex Godiniuk and Darren Rumble head to New Jersey for a 1st and 3rd, so Hartford is still on the rebuild. Interesting. And I think that's it for trades. Yeah, that was it for trades this month, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look at signings for this month, and then I'll be it for this episode. See if there's any big signings or not. Probably not. It's probably people getting their entry-level deals or two-way deals. So those are the only trades. So Vincent Randot actually also got traded. Interesting. So signing-wise, yeah, it doesn't look like anything huge at the moment. Anything else? Yeah, this is just a lot of AHL guys, it looks like, mostly. Or people that I've lowered their potential on, so they wouldn't get called up a lot. Yeah, I don't think there's any actual signings, unless they're near the top. Stefan Beauregard signs in Detroit. Rasico signs in Florida. Howard in Detroit as well. Mills in Buffalo. So a couple guys signing, but nobody huge. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Dallas Stars franchise mode. So in next episode, we will start up the 2022-23 season as we look to maintain our status as Stanley Cup champions. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.